So you guys can join the meeting before I start? Yeah, I guess there's some checkbox somewhere in Zoom that says you guys can start the meeting even before I join. I gotta find it. Yeah, there is a checkbox that says start allow guests to join before host. Because everybody logged in only after I signed in, and so I don't want you guys to be waiting there when you could potentially be talking to each other before until I come. Anyway, so we can get going anytime you guys are ready, but if you want to wait until a few more people show up before you start your updates, that's fine. You can talk about anything you want right now. Yeah, I'll try not to talk about anything. You guys can talk amongst yourself, anything you want until a few more people show up. Let's say 1:15, okay? So let's say about 7 to 10 minutes from now. I'll listen to you guys, but I'll just turn the laptop around, so I'm not even looking at you guys, so you can have a free form conversation, and then we can start in about 10 minutes. How about that? Yeah, I think that kind of worked for my 2A students while we're waiting, because this time when you guys are conversing with each other is actually valuable time. Oh, one sec, okay? All right, I don't know who's questioning so hard right now. All right. Yeah, it's actually very valuable time because you're talking about useful and interesting things and getting to know teammates, essentially, practice for a dry run and a practice for really working out there. So people who say, yeah, well, class is actually not going to start until 8:10 or 8:15, or 1:15, and I'll come later. They're just missing out on what may potentially be the most valuable part of these things that we have scheduled, not because I said it's an essential requirement, but you guys said, we want a time to get together and talk and update each other, okay? Because, 2B, technically, it's an online class. And so I don't have a requirement for you to be present at these classes. That's why even in the syllabus, I made it clear that, well, it says mandatory, but it's really not mandatory as long as you follow this alternate path. You can just post on Reddit and make sure you're on top of things, and that's fine too. Okay, so you guys arrange this, and so it's actually good for everybody else to attend and take part in this. Okay, so you can carry on with this conversation as long as you want. Okay, and then we'll start with the formal updates whenever you guys are ready. Okay, just call me and then we can start. Yeah, how about that? Is that okay? I'm just going to be around. Okay, I'm not going to disappear or anything. I'll be here, and I'm going to be within earshot. Is that okay? All righty. All right. Thanks. Yeah, I can see that you guys are all making fantastic progress. So I'm very happy. So yeah, you can go ahead, and talk and have a good time. I'm right here if you need me.
Hi. So I actually have a question. This is nice because I always ask it on Reddit, and I never and it's nice to put faces to Reddit names, usernames, I guess. So my question is I still don't understand the difference between virtual functions and what was it? Friend functions in classes. I still don't understand why we need them or what they're really for. And I was curious if anybody else had a very layman's answer.
You mean like the difference between member functions and friend functions, or?
Yeah, that. Sorry, there's a lot going on.
Oh, I think that friend functions are just like functions from another class that can access the members of like a friend function isn't actually a member function, but it's just I think it's just like a function that can access the member variables of that class, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. I think the use case for that would be to help test your private methods, which are usually inaccessible
Oh,
So then you write like a class which is a friend of that. I guess that's why it's called a friend class, because it can then access that's
okay.
my intuition. Is, it can access even the private, sorry, I don't, Sung pointed out the private members as well as, private member methods and things like that, which are usually not accessible outside of the class definition.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because I was also curious about like how at the end of all our
Tests.
yeah, there's the
Yeah.
friend class test. I was just like, I like the first couple of times I kept deleting it, and I was just like, why am I not passing? Thank you. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, because that test class is actually on professor's side, and if you want to access any your private function or any stuff, you need to give him like a key, and the key is that line which is friend test. Given the access to anything you have. But also, I have a problem when I'm doing my quest 5. Actually, I'm still struggling now, and you know we're overloading operator equal in quest 5, right? And my problem is there's two variables in our complex class, which is real and image, right?
Right.
Image number and real number. But my problem is for my equal operator, I want to make my left hand side and right hand side I want to copy the right hand side's complex numbers variable, including image and real, to the left hand side. That's how I think that equal operator should work. But the problem is when I add the real variable or image variable, each of them, just one of them, will works. But I don't know why if I like having two lines, which is real and image separately, the whole function just doesn't work, and I can't even run any of them on quest side. Although it works fine on my personal test, I have no idea why. Just I've checked the post on Reddit, and there's a post like several months ago, and it's saying that we have to hold on, give me a second. It's like about setting the field of right hand side to this, and that is what I did. But I don't know why I can only do one of them, which is real or image, but not both of them. Doing both of them throw me an error.
Wait. Okay, so I just got stuck on that. What's it called? Function. Only because like I didn't implement it. Um, but wait, can you like describe in pseudocode like what your function looks like or your method? I'm sorry, I use those interchanges.
I know. Okay. So the critical two lines which brings me confusion is I make left hand side like so first line is the real variables of this stuff left hand side equals to the right hand side's real. That is what I think it should be. And this single line doesn't make some problem. But if I copy it and change the real into image and make it second line, it throws me an error on quest side, only on quest side. Just none of my mini quest will work. It's saying that, what is it? I'm touching some memory that I shouldn't, something like that.
So wait, does it specifically say it's because of your the third quest, or does it just say like you touched some memory you shouldn't have?
Okay, so the problem is if I delete both of those, just if I leave nothing there, my quest successfully accessed until my third quest. But if I add those two lines, none of my mini quest works. It just left I touched some memory that I shouldn't, which just doesn't make sense. How can those two lines collapse my whole quest?
Okay, I ran into this problem exactly. Okay, so I fixed that
Really?
yeah, I ran into this problem too. I was like really happy when you said that because I was like, I know exactly what's going on. So what's going on is something with your what quest was it? 9, 10, 11, 12 were like the ones where you had to add the try catch, right? Or like there were exceptions, right?
Huh?
Um,
Except. Oh, okay, okay.
so
It's like
it's
a
something's going on with your div by 0 exception. Wait, I'm just like
divide by 0 exception.
yeah, because there was a post that Reynaldo answered at one point where it was like, oh, here are the reasons why your memory could be getting or why it could be messing around with the quest.
Oh yeah, I've read that too. It's like dividing 0 or infinite recursion, that stuff, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
post. And so once I fixed the was it 9 and 10? Once I fixed 9 and 10, it ran fine for me.
Really? So hold
So
on.
it might
So,
not be 3 for you.
okay. So it's like, yeah, because all my quests just stop until my mini quest 3 or 5, whatever, something like that. But okay, I'll take a look at that divide by 0 stuff. Really? Okay. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna.
Oh, maybe if you could post like your exactly your error because that we also might not be getting the same thing because I remember just like once I implemented my third quest I got the memory message, but it didn't have anything to do with the third quest.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. Maybe I'll make a Reddit post later to make it more clear. But yeah, I want to check it for a while. Let me figure it out first. And if I still have a problem, I maybe will make a Reddit post, or if it's possible to make more discussion later after everything is done. I don't know. Yeah, let's see.
Just one question. Are you talking about the operator? When you say equals, do you mean the equals as in comparing that returns a Boolean, or do you mean the one that returns a complex where you're setting it?
The one returns complex.
Okay. And you said you were using this for that. My recommendation for that would be try using getters and setters as much as you can and avoid the this, just because we do have functions that do it, and I think that might be what might bring something up.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. That is actually something that I miss. Yeah.
Yeah. If there's ever like a setter, I think it's just sort of, I just start with that and use that just because it makes life easier as well.
Oh. Okay. It's okay. I'll take a look later. Yeah. Sounds good. Using getter and setter. Yeah, well, I'll take a try. Cool. Thanks, man.
Of course.
Hey guys, are you guys still there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep the airwaves occupied, because this is going to be on YouTube, and maybe if other students who just want to listen to you in a car or something like that, right?
Nice.
So if there's silence, it will be harder for them.
I mean, it is 1:15. We could start doing updates, maybe, Professor.
Oh, okay.
If everybody's okay with that, yeah, we can start right now. You want to start updates? Okay.
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
sounds good.
Great. Okay. Excellent. Awesome. I hope you guys had a good conversation. And in fact, why don't we do this every Monday? Yeah. And then we can continue to have these conversations before we start our updates, so that everybody gets a chance to attend. Like Ronaldo was slightly late today, but yeah, thank you for coming. Yeah, it looks like all the regulars are here anyway, so that's fantastic. Thank you. So I see a perfect grid of 4 times 3, 12 people showing. Yeah, and so geez, yeah, it's switch on your cameras if you can, because I think it's easier for me to tell if you're jumping around. Okay, so because if it's just a rectangle, it's harder for me to, if you move from there to there, yeah, I don't know, but I can latch onto your face more easily. Okay, so we'll start with Walter, and obviously not me, because I can get a chance to talk at the very end if you guys want to talk. Okay, and if you have any more focused questions also, so I don't want to waste your time unless you absolutely need my input. Yeah, hey Gerald, did you just switch your camera on? I swear I saw you a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm actually in another meeting. I have a math exam review.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
so
have
you're
to,
doing two things at the same time?
I'm doing 2 things at the same time. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. You want to be skipped?
I'll try to turn it on as soon as possible.
Or if you want to be skipped, that's fine. You can watch the video later. Okay, so we'll go on to Riley after that.
All right.
Okay, so I'll just read off the list that I see. Okay, and I just remember who you're coming after. I think that should be sufficient. That's our link list. Okay, because I can rely on Zoom, and then and then I have to remember. Okay, lessen my cognitive load. Okay, Walter, Gerald, Riley, Sinchi, Anne, Sum, Mandar, Reynaldo, George, Evelyn, Timothy. I've got all of them. Yes. Okay. Nobody's left out, I hope. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. So let's start with Walter and then we'll go around. Okay. So I'm actually quite excited to hear. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I just finished my quest 6 over the weekend. I've yet to start quest 7. Thought it was fun though. Inheritance was fun to learn about. I think when you're learning about inheritance, the first thing you want to do is, bigger projects, just as, because it seems like at a bigger scale, they'll be even more useful. So that'll be exciting in the future if I'm ever doing a project. And polymorphism was a bit confusing for me at first, but once it sort of clicked, I realized that it's not as confusing as it seems at first glance. But yeah, so a lot of last week was just sort of reading up on stuff, and luckily I got quest 6 done in time, and hopefully I'll start quest 7 either today or tomorrow.
Hey, who's going after you, Walter? I thought Riley was going after you.
I thought it was Gerald. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Gerald. Yeah, maybe he's in the middle of something. Maybe he wants to skip. Okay, that's fine. Gerald, maybe if you want to come back, get on. You can go after Timothy. Okay, so Timothy's the last. Okay.
Sure thing.
All right, cool. Riley, you can pick up now.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, last week I finished quest 6 and 7, and I was actually going to try to keep going, but I got to quest 8, and it was actually a lot harder than I thought it would be. So that's what I'm working on this week. But yeah, I got through quest 6 and 7 last week.
Sinchi. Hey, so each of you has to remember who you're coming after. Okay, that's your next pointer. Okay, that's your link list next pointer. You got to remember, because otherwise it's a dangling pointer. Okay, so does everybody remember who they're coming after?
No.
Wait, was it me?
Okay, I'm going to read it
Right?
off one more time. Okay, so this is a link list. Otherwise, you're never going to pass. Quest number 8. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So Walter, who's done. Riley's going to go now. And then we have, Sinchi is going to go now. And then Anne, Sung, Mandar, Reynaldo, George, Evelyn, Timothy, and then finally Gerald. Hey, that's very cool. Zoom moved you to the end automatically. How is that possible? Because I just moved you verbally, right? Because you were up there in position number 3 for me, and I said, "Hey, Gerald, you go after Timothy," and then you actually moved to the. I don't know if that's how the matrix shows to you. But you just move right there. It's as though Zoom did some, speech recognition and said, "Hey, that's what that'll make it easier for these guys." Okay, so cs2b class in Foothill College in Los Altos. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, let's go start with Sinchi now. All right, everybody remember who they're going after, right?
Lot.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Just as I said several minutes ago, I'm still struggling with Quest 5. And it's still kind of painful for me because so overall I have done almost every mini quest. If everything goes fine, it should be good, but just I'm in the debugging progress, so I hope I hope this won't last long for me. Probably that's all.
Speaking of debugging, where's Jason? Yeah, someone's got to reach out to him at some point. Maybe he's got another task. Yeah, so I'm sorry, he posted something on debugging. That's how, it rang a bell when you said, you're having a tough time debugging.
Okay, cool. Just yeah, so far I think that's all for me, just nothing special.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn. So I'm struggling with Quest 5 for completely different reasons. I am not the best at math or math terms, so I literally had to look up what a reciprocal was. So that was fun. Other than that, I'm gonna try and finish it today and hopefully move on to Quest 6 and 7 soon.
So I'm a bit behind. I'm still on quest 4, and I think I'm on like last 3 mini quests. I'm hoping to finish that by today though. But
Hey, I actually finished. I was lucky enough to finish all the quests last week. I think they're the most fun. Last 2 quests are quite fun. Last one I loved because it has it's a graph. It's a quest related to graph, and yeah, the tester has this animation which is quite fun. In the end, you can make your own graph, which can be anything you want. So I made a constellation. I'll post it on Reddit. But yeah, the last 2 quests essentially use all the knowledge that you've learned from quests 1 to 7 and then just apply that in the last 2 quests. Basically, that's what it is. So if you finish, halfway down quest 8, I think you'll be done. Get completions, I think, is the toughest mini quest in quest 8. It just requires an understanding of how the tree data structure works and how the output needs to look like, which I misunderstood and kind of ended up coding something completely different. But anyway, long story short, I finished all the quests and I feel really good about I am much more comfortable with pointers and memory allocation, things like that. And so over the coming weeks, I'll be looking at Reddit and also just reviewing the concepts to make sure that I don't forget things for the final exam. That's all.
Okay, it's my turn now. I remember the next pointer. So I finished tardigrade. And yes, it was a fun quest. As I said on the Reddit post, I came to this quest with a vengeance because I was asked this quest on an interview, in the tail end of an interview, and I had 20 minutes to do it. And I couldn't do it. Well, I could do part of it because the guy said, you can use Python. And then it got a little bit easier. But yeah, it was a total dumpster fire, but it wasn't far from perfect on the interview. So, but this time, yeah, it was pretty nice to learn prefix trees. As Mandar said, this is a tricky quest, especially get completions, right? But if you get everything, if you pass all the tests before get completions, you're kind of set up to get that working, right? So I started the last quest this weekend. I read the spec and started putting the scaffolding in place. And that's where I am.
So I'm on quest 7 this week. I managed to get through like 3 quests in a few days, so that was pretty good. And for quest 5, I think I managed to fully complete it, which I didn't do for all the other quests yet. Yeah, that's about it.
I'm currently working on quest 4 and I'm hoping to get it done soon so I can start quest 5 as soon as possible.
Alright, so yeah, I've finished quest 4 and quest 5. No, I haven't finished quest 4, I've just passed it. But yeah, I think I will go back to quest 4 and then finish it this week and then continue doing the quest 6. And yeah.
Hey, Gerald, I can hear you.
Oops.
Yeah, and
so
your camera's off too.
is my camera off?
Well, it's, half your face is cut off.
Oh. Okay, can you see me?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay, so I've done quest 5. However, quest 4, I don't think I've gotten full points for it. I don't know if it's already closed or not, but I will try to do it by this weekend and also finish up quest 6. Or not, I will do it later on when every quest reopens again. So yeah, that's about it for me.
Wow. Thank you, guys. And by the way, if you're working on any of these quests, if you can assume it's not frozen, okay? If you're really interested in working on it, unless it's past the due date and then you've given up on it, right? If there's a few days that you haven't looked at it after the freeze date, then I can freeze it for good. Maybe that's the system I'll set up for next quarter. Set up a scripting system that will just auto freeze after lack of activity for 2 days or something like that, or lack of increasing points or something like that, right? Because you got to keep at it every day, and some kind of impetus needs to be happening. So that's a really good idea. Thanks to you guys. But having said that, don't be too concerned that these numbers don't show up in Canvas, okay? They are showing up in my spreadsheet. It's just that I have remembered to transfer from my spreadsheet to Canvas at some point, and there's a button I have to fix. But before I press the button, I have to I have to set apart some time to go over, make sure some things are correct. Well, even check the scores, that things like that. But as long as you can see all your points on the /q site, that's okay, right? Because essentially that's what will get transferred, because that's what I see in my spreadsheet too. So from /q, I hope everybody knows what that /q site is, right? So from the /q site, and the /q site only gets wiped at the beginning of each quarter. So it'll continue to be there. I know that there's around this time, week 8 or so, there's usually a huge variance in the quests, the number of quests completed among the students, right? Because we have students, is still struggling with 3 and 4, and then some who have actually finished it like Mandar. And the cool thing is that the strong ones are engaged enough with the rest of the class by then. Okay, it's because it's week 8, and so they're just able to stick around, because they have already made some commitment to, okay, this quarter or something like that. So many courses and so on. So they have the time to help you guys. So they're all sticking around. And I heard Mandar say he's also available, right? Ronaldo, I think, is going to be available very soon. So I think that pool of people able to help you can only keep growing, right? So that's actually a fantastic opportunity. Take advantage of that. But the other thing I'd like to say also, to provide you a bit more fuel, is that there are only 2, I think, in my opinion, hurdles, okay, 2 really hard quests in the green trail. Okay, in the red trail there's a few, I can agree, right? But in the green trail, I think quest 4, and those of you who've completed everything can feel free to disagree or chat amongst yourself. I think, in my opinion, the way, or at least maybe it just came about by chance, because I kind of picked the same pattern that Michael Losef followed, right? What topics should be taught each week, and then if you've done 1A, 1B or something like that before, he didn't teach in the Python series here, but he definitely taught the Java series. So if any of you have done the Java series with even some other instructor, chances are very high that they're also following the same sequence of topics that he laid out in Java, which is exactly the same sequence of topics in C++, and I believe also in Python, because he started putting together the Python series. I think I'm aware of a 3A and 3B also, like, you know, LOCF modules, but I didn't mirror that. I could ask him at some point, but where was I going with that? I don't know where I was going, but you know, 4 and 8 are the hardest. Yes, I don't know if Mandar and Ronaldo agree, but I think, and I think there's it's very fortuitous that it came about that way, because, you know, it's the thing is, once you get past 4, okay, 4 is usually mentally tiring for a lot of people, especially people who have just ventured into the pointer, pointer filled area, like, you know, a land of landmines. Okay, so it's very stressful taking every step without knowing whether it's going to explode under you. Yes, so and so it takes a lot of time. And just, you know, again, a lot of time, just, you know, and small steps, not jumping around, right? So if you take a lot of time and jumping around, that's all it takes to start feeling comfortable. And then you can say in 2B, you know, now I've just been patient enough with myself. It's not patient enough with me or patient enough with your classmates or even learning all the material. It's just being patient enough with yourself, because what you're trying to do, I think, is just basically bring some of your cs2a level enthusiasm. That's, you know, I know some of you are already programmers, even when you enroll in, you know, 2B, the track, to pick up the, you know, language related stuff. But but there's also a big component of my class who are not even programmers, meaning they've done 2A, or they've come into 2A thinking they're programmers and they want to sharpen their skills, but they get a rude awakening, right? So when they hit 2B and so on and so forth, there's a bunch of bound to be a bunch of students like that. And so I think around 4, I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah. So when people, so they are thrown into this territory, and if you go with the speed that if you go into 2A like a tiger and say, I have the power to leap anywhere I want, bam, 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 like that, and you go at full speed and tearing up everything in your path, it's very likely that you land on a landmine in 2B. And so all 2B teaches you, if after you finish 2B, the ones that are starting out as non-programmers or, you know, homegrown programmers, as we'll realize, is that doesn't teach you any magic, because, you know, the new syntax, the control structures, all of that is covered in 2A. What 2B really teaches you is patience, right? And patience with yourself, and learning to accept that you're going to write programs, millions of programs that are going to crash, and you're going to be really grateful that they just crashed, not like in the old days, or, you know, when you actually could have written a program that fried the whole system. Yes. So C++ gives you so many guards that it lets you crash these programs, and you're going to do that so many times. And so the trick really in 2B is to get patience, and the way to get patience is not being impatient, meaning don't jump around like a tiger, or expect yourself to take huge steps, because huge steps are always risky, right? Because, you know, circular, the area increases as a square of the diameter, yes, by r squared. So always take small steps, and if you come in with practice taking large steps, then it's very hard. Because first of all, we have to condition our minds to say, I'm going to take small steps, and it's okay to take small steps, right? And lots of people are told or somehow believe implicitly that it's not okay to take small steps, right? Because there are, many people, I was advising someone else a few days ago, and they're looking for validation from other people, saying what you're doing is great, or you're good enough for this thing, and so on and so forth. And that kind of puts many people in the wrong frame of mind, because it builds impatience. And saying, I got to get this done, or that person is going to think badly of me, or saying, that's all total nonsense. You should only proceed at the pace that's comfortable to you, because otherwise you're never going to find joy in what you do, right? So, so 2B is, I think, designed to. So when you get to 2A and you take these big steps, you're never ever going to be able to get past 4. Okay, 4 will basically keep, hitting you back to 2A land. right? Until you are absolutely comfortable with pointers, I think, right? Because we made sure, or at least, if you look at Michael's modules, you'll be surprised, okay? I haven't looked at it. I haven't looked at enough of it anyway. And you can tell me if I'm wrong. He goes into great detail into all kinds of things that could go wrong with trees, right? Many things you don't even find in textbooks. He actually goes and he says, this is how the code works in your lab. He calls it lab, okay? So he wrote a lab like this a long time ago, right? And he gives explanations, and he, and his sample code and so on and so forth. And he puts lots and lots of details into explanations into these things. And you'll see that, he also expects that particular lab to be really hard. But once you get past it, okay, I think that you'll feel comfortable enough with pointers, and also the next 2 quests will be fun, like, and they pointed out. 8 will be, a place to stop and pause, and you should get at least halfway past 8. If you manage to get past 8, 9 is just a treat for you, okay? Like Mandar said, it's not a big deal. So 8 is hard. If you get past 8, you should absolutely consider enrolling in 2C. And for those of you who finished my 2B, if you have spare time other than helping the current classmates get through the class, you can just go ahead with your red quest, right? That is, if you're planning to do my 2C, and just go ahead with your red quests. And if you do my spring 2C, you're going to get credit for everything, including the green quests, right? So you could potentially start helping the other classmates even sooner than we did in 2C. So that would be great. In fact, maybe some of you are already managing other programmers, or at some point you will be. Right? You will be managing or hiring managers. Hiring managers looking for C++ is always going to be in demand. Okay, no matter what other languages come. Each language has its place, but the place of C++ in that chain is hard to displace, because I think because it's like a tree. Right, things flow like this. High-level languages, Python, Go, and all these things, interpreted languages, they all flow, and they go through a very few low-level languages like C++, and very few. Right, so there's fewer nodes like that, and eventually it gets to assembler and machine-specific code for that architecture. So it goes like that, and so it's always going to be there. I think it's much harder to displace. So I think that if you ever get to be a hiring manager, or if you're already a hiring manager, you can save yourself a whole bunch of time. In fact, maybe I wish something like this was there a long time ago, when you don't have to spend time getting to probe the candidate's technical depth. Because if you give them a random ID, right, say Jack 17935 or something like that, I don't know, right, and say uses ID and quest starting at tiger named Fans or something like that, right? You can follow their progress and timestamps and everything on the /q site with the ID. They can follow it. It's all anonymous because nobody else can see it. And then once they produce a completed quest 9, and you can look at the timeline. You can basically say, yeah, I'm come over. We'll have a chat, and then you don't have to chat about technical expertise or ask them to prove anything, because they would have done it already. But you can pick up salient points and say, hey, let's have a conversation about this and see what excites them, right? Because ultimately what you want to do is, when you're a hiring manager, you want to identify strong candidates. I think I told you this before, or maybe my 2A students, but that's only 10% of the picture, because identifying strong candidates is easy after a while. So what is hard is identifying a strong candidate who has one or more interests, which aligns with one or more of your organization's interests with an angle that is productive, right? It has to be between 0 and 90. So, it's like the dot product thing between vectors. And so that is the hard part. And unfortunately, and I've pointed it out to other people who are interviewing things, right? And say, you're never, ever going to find someone for this, right? If you go with this attitude, and say, that's fine, because this is policy, this is what we're going to do. But the thing is, if you only have 90 minutes of your time to interact with the candidate, you would think about it. You would much rather already be convinced of the candidate's technical ability by the time they come through the door. Yes, because you want to find out, I want strong candidates, no doubt, because I'm not going to hire a right? But I want to hire someone who has an interest that is, aligned with mine, so I can let them do whatever they want and benefit by it anyway. right? Then you don't have to do any work. No, and because managing also, these people don't like to be managed anyway, right? Because all you can hope for from the strong people is that you do, because, you know, I think yesterday I was chatting with another past student, and he said, you know, some influential person on LinkedIn advised him that if when you start something really cool, like you do, and it gets acquired by a big software company, you will now get to know influential people in the company. I don't know what that means, right? So, but, you know, but I told him, right? So I don't know what she meant, but I told him what I think she meant, okay? Because in my experience, in any organization, right, in the influential people are not the people with big titles. So there are a secret, it's not a secret, it's an open secret. People know, right? Because people know that there are these satellites, right? Nobody's essentially in terms of title, but there are these satellites in this company, right? If they all get together and say, this is what you need to do, the CEO is going to listen to them. So, and many people don't know all of these people, or, you know, participate in their discussions or gatherings or coffee groups or nothing like that, right? They don't know. But when you do something spectacular, it's not like, you know, I'm going to be a director, because if you choose, I'm going to be a director, I want to manage a team of 100 people or 1,000 people or 5,000 people or an entire corp and org, things like that. You know, that's the wrong track. That way, you're never going to be, you know, a big leader. So, but you say, no, I'm just, you know, no, I've done what I think is really valuable. I'm going to sit around and do whatever the hell I want, right? You can pay me for it and take care of my health. I'm perfectly fine with that, right? So those are the people that are really influential, because they get listened to, because they're not in it for the game or money or power or fame or glory. They're just going to do what they think is right. And so I said, that's what she actually means. She says, you will get to know, because anybody could get to know who the VPs are in any company, especially public companies, but they're not influential people, right? If VPs and other people's SVPs, they're people who get, you know, stuff done, right? You can task them and say, well, you know, this is the company's mission, this is what you got to do, right? And they'll put their teams together of, you know, directors, senior directors and managers and so on, and this is just a machine, a calculus. I'll get it done in a, you know, time frame, 15 months from now, and so on and so forth. You know, the SVPs are charged with that, right? But they're not really influential. But where do these ideas come from? The ideas and the company direction and all those things, that's shaped by the influential people. And most people don't know them, right? And so when she says, you know, you do something absolutely significant, right? You're not going to rise up the ranks, because rising up the ranks just means that you're being, you know, proving that you're productive of executing on someone else's vision, right? And you can rise up the ranks so much that way. But getting to know, you know, someone, or being part of the crowd that sets the direction of the whole company. It's, you know, even though it's democracy, even in America, right? Any democracy, any country, it's not like, you know, everybody has an equal say. There are a few intellectuals, right? It's, even though everybody has equal say, but, you know, if they are real wise people that have the best interests of the company at heart, they will enshrine things that everybody will vote on, right? So I think that's the way everything, even a company runs like that. That is my take, right? I might be completely wrong in all this. So that's what I mean. Feel free, right? I don't care about questioning, right? I'm going to consolidate some of the service, you know, reduce my cost even further in the cloud, so I can put even more resources out there. So feel free to use questioning for any purpose that you think you want. You can also ask potential hires to contribute in the forums and look at how they interact with fellow teammates and things like that. Make your decisions based on that. Save yourself a bunch of time, right? You know, my basic idea with all this is that, you know, it's all out there. Why, if I knew something like this was out there, I would have taken advantage of it, because it's all free. Yeah. And so just take advantage of all these things and see if you can do this. And that's what I'm going to suggest to this other person also. All right. Maybe I'll, you know, maybe I'll start some kind of an internship at Nonlinear Media, you know, working on interesting things. This summer onwards, and anyone who does all the way, completes all the way to, you know, 2Cs, 9 aces all the quests, if they have an interest that aligns with something interesting and useless you know, I'll you know, pay a stipend or something. I don't know, you know, I don't want to make this all official, because, you know, I don't want to do the paperwork, but I'll make it worth your while. And but if there's something that we, you know, if we can do together over summer, not now. Anyway, that is my spiel. Thank you for sticking around and talking and updating each other. I'm very glad that everybody is making progress, much more so than last quarter. Okay. See, everybody is also trying. Everybody's also trying. And Jason produces really cool video, and I love the interaction that's going on, and people chiming in and trying to help each other. Doesn't matter what the question is. Everybody is also courteous and polite. All of these are great qualities. All great, absolutely fantastic qualities for a teammate. Yes, those are the kinds of people you want to work with in future, right? You don't want to work with total assholes in the workplace, because you're going to spend a lot of time. Yeah, a lot of time every day. And so you want to work with fun people, and that's, I see that emerging right here. So it's a fantastic playground. Thank you all so much for your time. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But otherwise, we can get together anytime. Yeah, we'll get together next Monday, obviously. Otherwise, let me know if there's any sudden need for a group of students getting together to work on projects or something like that. I'll see. I'm sure I can find something. Do you guys have any questions? No? All right. Well, thank you all so much. All right. I'll see you guys next Monday. Bye.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Professor.
Thank you, Professor. See you.
See ya.
Have a nice day.